Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So today's video is going to be on this month's Diary Lovers printable from Kikki.k, and this is it. It's a mini bookmark using the absolutely gorgeous new Sweet range. I have done walkthroughs of the bits and pieces that I've got of this already, so I will link those two videos because I messed up down below, so you can go and check them out. But I'm going to go ahead and make this the way that Kikki.k say to make it, but then I'm also going to show you how to make it a little bit more so that it lasts a little bit longer. So I've got two copies here. So the first one, we're just going to cut this out. You can cut it out any way you like. You can either do it with your trimmer or with your scissors. I am going to cut it out with my trimmer, at least to start with. And I think I'm going to have to get my knife in here because I don't think I can cut that little bit in there. You don't have to be 100% perfect with this. I've just gone and made it not perfect straight away, so that was easy. So what I'm just going to be really careful of is that the top's actually a little bit wider than the bottom. The ears actually stick out a little bit. So I'm just going to do the straight line up, but I'm just going to stop there so I can go in with the scissors or the knife, whatever I happen to use. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Just make sure that you get a really nice straight cut up here, and then we can fix it up later. So I'm just going to finish cutting this out and I'll be back in just a sec. Alright, so that's as much as I can cut out with my scissors, except just for this teensy weensy little spot. Oh, hold on. I'll do it with my knife anyway. So I'm just going to grab, that was really loud, sorry, my cutting mat, and I'm just going to cut out the rest of these little bits using my knife, just because it's a little bit easier and I can get into all the delicate little spots. To give this a little bit more of a trim in a minute anyway. So the next step on the list is to fold it in half on the dotted line. So what I'm going to do is just use my scoring tool just to make sure that I get a really good line here. And I am going to do it this way as opposed to the other way, even though I'm folding it that way, just because it's a little bit easy to see where that line is. Whoops. Right, I'm going to use my little trick. If I've ever got something to score and I'm having trouble getting the line straight, what I do is I put it in my trimmer, line it up where I want it, and then use the gap that you would use to cut down as an actual scoring line. It makes it, number one, makes it straight. Number two, it's just a little bit easier than using your ruler. And then the next step is to fold this over, and then it should line up pretty close so that the pug is lined up on both sides. Now, because I accidentally messed this up a little bit when I was cutting it, it's not completely perfect. So before we fix it up, we're going to stick it down first. So the way we're going to do that is just using glue. You can use any kind of glue you like, adhesive dots, sticky tape, whatever you want to use basically. But just use a fair amount of it because you are going to, hopefully this is going to stay folded for a while. So just lining that up and pushing it down nice and hard. So now comes the fun part where we get to kind of make it match. So the best way to do that, or best way I would find to do that, is just grab your trimmer for the straight bit at least. Still probably going to have to use your scissors just to tidy this up, but I think that helps using the trimmer. And then just sort of cut around the shape. You might need to go back in again with your knife, but generally it should be okay. It depends a little bit on how well you cut them both out. Like I was a little bit rougher on one side than I was on the other. I sort of thought that when I was doing it. So the more gentle, I guess, or more precise you are when you cut this out the first time, I guess the better it will be. Okay, so that now looks really good from the front, but we still want to make sure that it looks really good from the back as well. It's just a spot in there that I just want to get at with my knife first. There we go. So you just want to make sure it still looks good on the back as well. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's done. It does take a little bit of work to get it, but it is so very cute. It's a very, very cute bookmark. The way I'm going to make this a little extra and to sort of make it last a little bit longer is I'm going to stick it down on some cardboard and I'm actually going to laminate it. I think it'll actually look really nice that way. So what I'm going to do to start off with, so I'm just grabbing that other one that I printed out. And I'm just cutting out very roughly the general shape, and that's just because we're going to stick it straight onto some cardboard so we don't have to cut it twice. I am slowly learning some of the tips that Ryan chucks at me when we're doing stuff, like stick things down on the cardboard before you cut it out, so you don't have to cut it out twice. It's a very good idea. So because we are using, like we are going to cut out a lot of this, I am going to use a ton of glue here. So I'm just running it down where I can see the shape coming through. Don't have to do the edges obviously because you're not going to actually use them. And then you could stick this right in the middle of the page, but I'm not going to because that's kind of wasteful. So I'm just putting it down on the edges, or on two of the edges, giving that a good rub. And this is just plain old white cardboard, there's nothing too special about it. I'm just cutting off the excess. So then, just so I can get it as straight as I possibly can this time, I'm going to try and make this almost perfect. I'm just lining up where the lines are so I can send it through the trimmer as close as possible to the straight line. And we're just going to do the same thing we did before, straight up, but just being aware not to go the whole way up. Come on. I'm just seeing, yeah, that's perfect. Ah, say it's perfect and then I move. Good work, me. See if the trimmer will be a bit forgiving today. Don't know if it will be. I'm going to go back in and fix that up with my scissors. So I'm just cutting off that extra little bit there so I can just go back and fix it. And then just doing the same thing on the other side. Hopefully not exactly the same thing considering how badly I just messed that up, but close. Okay, so nowhere near close, but we'll make it work. So now it's going to cut out around the top. This could take me a second, so I'm going to go ahead and do it and I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, so something I've just thought of while I'm cutting this out. I'm actually going to fold it first and then I don't have to cut around the intricate bits to like cut around it twice. Ryan's also just asked why I put it on cardboard. And the reason is I just think it lasts longer if it's on cardboard. I know I'm going to laminate it, but I just feel like it does last a little bit longer if you do mount it on some cardboard first. So I'm just doing the same thing I did before, using the line in here to score. It's not going to be as simple this time because we are on a slightly thicker bit of paper, but it will still do the job. And then I'm just going to fold that over. You sort of have to then, what I've just realised, is I've got to pull that line up the whole way so that it folds over. just folding that over. And just grabbing my other scoring tool that sort of doubles as my folding guy. Just realised, don't rub too hard there because you will dent the paper a little bit. So then just go nuts with your glue again. Make sure you get every surface covered. Oops. And fold it over. Okay, so now we can go around and trim this up. The good thing is hopefully this time we should only have to cut once. Some of the intricate bits you might have to do a couple of times over, but it hopefully should make it a little bit easier. That's all the big bits done. I'm going to go back in with the knife again. This is obviously going to be a little bit harder because it's a bit thicker. So the tip is just to go really slowly and just push as hard as you can. There is our little pug all cut out. So like I said, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck him through my laminator just because I think it's a very good way to make sure this lasts a really long time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and I'll be back in just a sec. So just while that's heating up, I just thought I'd tell you what this month's Diary Lovers Club free gift is. So it is this little stationery kit. If you haven't seen me do a walkthrough of it, I'll link the video down below. But basically you get a little box, which is gorgeous, and everything that's you get in here is not in here right now. I've kind of moved it out. But you get a little ruler and a pencil sharpener, a little stapler, some little sticky tapes, and the best part of all is the single hole punch, which looks like this and is my absolute favourite thing Kikki.k make, I think. This is my, honest to goodness, my favourite hole punch in the whole world. It's even better than my Memory Keeper's planner punch board. I love using it. You guys would have seen me use it hundreds and hundreds of times. So this is your free gift this month when you purchase something valued at over $30, which shouldn't be hard because the new Cute range should be coming out sometime this month. So if you haven't seen any of it online, I will link the coming soon down below so you can go and check it out. But if you're going to spend $30 to be able to get this for free, I think is fantastic, especially when this hole punch is so good. So I'm just going to continue waiting for my laminator to heat up and I'll be back in just a sec. Alrighty, so that's what it looks like once it's gone through the laminator. I'm going to leave it on, so just please ignore that clicking sound for a little bit and I'll show you why in just a second. So the first thing I'm going to do is just grab my scorer again. I'm just rubbing gently on the air pocket and you'll understand why in a second. Because I'm actually going to send it back through again. It's because I hate these air pockets, I really do. And if you rub around them a little bit, sometimes they will actually re-stick the second time. So I'm just going to run that through again. So it's been through the second time and I'm still going to leave it on again. Didn't do as well as I wanted it to. It did work a little bit better on the left hand side, but it didn't on the right. But what we're going to do is go around it with the scissors. So because that air pocket is so wide, because I really don't I'm kind of half tempted to just sort of cut where I want to go and try and send it through again. But I don't know if it's going to work. So I'm just going to go just around the air pocket a little bit, trying not to run into it if I can. I think I will at some point. I am going to send it through the laminator again, so I'm not stressing out too much if I do. The biggest problem I have is that the pocket on the bottom here is so big, it actually kind of makes it look not straight. Same thing with the one on the side. So I think I will just go into it, try and make it look even. Obviously you don't want to go right up against the dog's ears again, because that's going to cause a problem. So you just go around it, and then I'm just going to neaten this up a little bit just by coming a little bit closer. I am rounding off these corners, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can leave it just as a straight square. So you can see that has actually opened up. So what I'm hoping is when I chuck this back through again, it'll stick. It might not. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Just giving it a really good push there, hoping that it will. So I'm just going to put that straight back through the laminator. Alright. That has actually sealed up. I was worried it wouldn't, but it did. Woohoo! I'm just going to turn my laminator off. So that is this month's Printable done two different ways. You've got the regular version and then the slightly more fancy version, I guess you could call it. I love this. I love this whole range. So I'm so going to use this in my planner. This actually might end up in my monthly decoration that I did last month. I might just add it in there as an extra little thing. Sometimes the bad part about doing the monthly decoration before the month's over is that I don't actually know what the printable is going to be, so I can't actually feature it in there. But I will definitely put it somewhere, and I'll probably end up using this collection again somewhere anyway, so we'll have to see if I use it there. It's obviously going to be great either way, but if you just want it to last a little bit longer, I think laminating it just gives it a little bit more longevity. But they are very, very cute. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget, my live video is coming up on Wednesday the 16th at 8 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if you do want to tune in for that, make sure you put that in your planners right now. If you do want to ask me a question in that live video or anything that you've seen in this video, please leave it down below, or you can find me on any of my social medias. They're all down below as well, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the videos. Hope you guys have an awesome, awesome day, and I will see you again really, really soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.